And we're back.
Can we still include the first part of that?
Maybe, yeah. We had to cut because then we don't want to have to do a double apology.
I'm feeling angry today. That's why.
That's fair. But anyway, back to Barbara Walters. So yeah, Barbara Walters interviewed the Menendez brothers, and they were like, "We just wanted to be like normal kids." And she was like, "Guys, you literally killed your parents. You guys are monsters." And I was like, "You're so fucking mean. You're just like wrinkly and gross."
It's just crazy to me that they were like in this interview circuit and then got put away for life.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they did their tour. They did their tour and then they got locked up and everyone was like, what next?
How did they kill the parents?
I think gun. They went for the gun.
Okay, that's awful. That's really awful.
It could get more brutal than that.
But it could get more sinister.
I like that.
I'm going to stop talking about revenge.
Yeah, there's a lot of I feel like that's a justifiable revenge plot though, you know.
It is.
That's a lot of revenge movies start that way.
It makes me really, really sad for.
I think they're doing great. Not great in prison,
they're
but
in prison.
I think they're married.
To who?
To women. To these two women. I don't know. I think they're both married, perhaps.
It is really crazy to me when
you can sustain a marriage in prison.
You have prison wives. Mm-hmm. That I would love to play a prison wife in a show. I've auditioned for a couple of those roles. But it's just so fascinating to me because the loyalty there is just really.
Oh my God, it's pure loyalty.
Yeah. It's. I don't know. It is admirable in a lot of ways, especially if that person committed something really sketchy.
Yeah, a heinous crime.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And being like, that is my man.
But yeah. And I it really amazes me. I know people that are loyal in that way and it's admirable.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
It's an admirable cause.
But anyway, the reason
those are honest men and women.
Well, I think that's really just acting out of blind love, I guess, for someone. I don't know.
Yeah.
To stick it out with someone in that way, I couldn't do it.
That'd be very difficult.
I know I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And then to raise children as well, that's another layer. You're really doing everything yourself and then you're giving them money as well. And they're not working for anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're really supporting your entire family emotionally and financially, and you're continuing to show up for this person, and I don't know.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Anyway, do you want to make your apology? Because that's why we came on here in the first place, and also so that I can say Red Vines sponsor us, please. I'm really trying to get this to be a thing.
Do you think we should start with them? Maybe we should shoot lower.
Lower?
Than them.
Shoot lower than who?
Red Vines.
I shoot high for everything.
Okay.
What do you want, Twizzlers?
Or even what's the Kroger brand of licorice?
There's no Kroger brand of licorice. Mm-hmm. Though if you are a black licorice company, I am one of the rare people who enjoy black licorice, so I'd be willing to accept you.
Are we pretty gung-ho about licorice in general?
What do you want to do?
No, I'm literally asking. I don't have
a healthy Reese's alternative. I don't think we are of the healthy candy brand.
No. I was thinking maybe yeah, that's fitting.
I want Red Vines. I want to be like Madonna in her fit phase. Okay? Red Vines sponsor us.
Okay. Nice.
I mean, I want to advertise something that I actually have a connection to.
Yeah.
Red Vines helps me get through so much.
It's true.
It does.
Uh-huh.
Anytime I'm having a mental breakdown, it's red vines and Cheez-Its.
Mm.
And chocolate. Any sort of chocolate.
When they first did E.T., like a big thing is how he leaves out the Reese's Pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And at first they wanted M&M's.
Right.
Reese's Pieces was second choice.
Reese's Pieces is so much better.
But they wanted M&M's because M&M's. M&M's is just, they're bigger than Reese's Pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And M&M's is like, nah, you can't use us. And boy, did they fuck that one up.
But wasn't that like before?
And Reese's Pieces, like, they
it was before
skyrocketed.
advertising in movies became a thing, right? They kind of made that.
It was before
that
was very prominent. And then, yeah, Reese's Pieces, like, literally skyrocketed. Like, you couldn't find it in stores. That's how crazy it was.
Oh, I would kill for some Reese's Pieces right now.
Exactly. This is literally, it is working right now.
It is. Advertising completely works on me.
Oh, it works on me too.
You less so. I think you can see a scam. I mean, like, I'm like walking down Venice Beach and I'll take the CDs that they pass on.
Yeah, you did go for the CD.
Well, like,
I was like,
yeah. I didn't know that people did that.
mm.
And I thought it was a thing of like that he was trying to show me his new album or something. I'm an idiot.
No,
I'm a dumb little girl.
No, you're not.
I am.
He wanted your money, but
and like I'm the kind of person that like out of guilt will give someone my money more than I probably have to share.
That makes sense. It's
like,
funny because you grew up in a city.
Yeah, but I always felt really, really bad.
Felt bad.
My dad would always
like, remember when that guy in Ann Arbor was like, I need to get on a train home.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Do you have $20?
I would have given him the $20.
I feel like train home is like the most common scam.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I'm so gullible.
I need to get on a bus home. And he got fucking mad at me. I thought he was gonna hit me.
He wasn't gonna hit you.
Not hit me, but he was mad.
He was mad
when I said no.
And you're the type of person that like you're sociable with every type of person, I think. And I just get like, oh sure. Like I'm a timid person. And I will usually give people what they want if they ask me, which is just has caused a lot of issues in my life. I need to learn how to say no. Yeah.
Interesting.
But I like my dad would always give people who asked him for money, he would buy them food.
Yeah, I do that.
So.
Yeah, I no problem there.
So I think like I saw that.
I also never have cash. That's more like that's honestly more of the issue.
I usually have cash on me.
Yeah. For me, it's like I usually don't have cash. And that's why it's tough.
No, but the thing is like, honestly, most days I can't afford to give someone money.
Right.
Like.
Yeah.
It's also less so in LA. In Ann Arbor, it was
well,
like...
you're walking around more in Ann Arbor.
In Ann Arbor, people go up to you and they, like, while you have your wallet out, like, paying for something. And then they're like, can I have money? And I'm like, well, they're literally looking inside my wallet right now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they come up to you there and they talk to you. And that's difficult. Yeah, the reason why it was difficult with the guy with the train is he like, was talking to us. And then he, like, stopped us. Yeah.
Ann Arbor is very, like...
That was, like, a very particular thing.
They'll talk to you. Yeah, and
it's like a social
when
thing.
People go up to me, but it doesn't make me feel like a good person when I give someone money.
Of course not.
It makes me feel kind of like a shitty person.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me feel worse sometimes.
Does it make me feel worse? It just doesn't. I feel like no, it's not really. You haven't done anything.
No, but I feel like, oh, I'm a sellout. Like I just like did that out of guilt.
Right.
I did that because I was nervous. I did that.
Yeah. 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 That makes sense.
You know?
That makes sense.
But they got the money, so...
Yeah, good
what does it matter to them?
Yeah, fuck it. Get your
money,
But anyway,
honey. You wanted to say your apology, and this has gone on a really long time, so I don't know what you're gonna finesse with the cuts of this.
I'm just rolling. I'm just hanging out here. I have nothing better to do.
Me neither, because I can't move.
Yeah. Are you wearing the brace?
No. It should be.
Oh, it's on the floor. Yeah, why aren't you wearing it?
Because I don't feel good, Aaron.
Oh, God.
I can't even laugh.
We can go for a walk after.
I guess, yeah.
Oh, shit.
No, we can.
What?
I want to go on a walk. I do.
Just round the block or something.
Yeah.
Just walk up and down.
Are you drunk?
Not faded.
Oh.
It faded very quickly.
Because you're more talkative now.
I was wasted in the middle of the last podcast. Not wasted, but I was like...
But when you're drunk, you get really, really quiet.
I just didn't want to be.
To show you, for reference, he had one beer.
Oh, yeah, true.
Did you even finish
Doesn't
the
take
beer?
much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I finished it.
It's kind of nice, though, that you can get drunk off of one beer.
Yeah, it is nice.
Yeah.
It's like a cheap life for me. This doesn't take much.
That's why I probably had to stop drinking.
It's also like the effect. It definitely, yeah. Like next day, I'm usually fine.
Mm-hmm.
But it also, yeah. But then it lasted for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Mm. But then you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
But yeah, then it is what it is.
Does your back hurt at all?
A little bit. When I woke up, it hurt.
Really?
Yeah. I think it was because I haven't worked out in like 10 years. And then I did some back stuff yesterday.
We did like 3 exercises.
My arms are killing me today.
Yeah, I pulled myself at the gym and
That was brutal.
yeah. I felt really high when we started in the middle of this podcast because I was like, oh, I'm like doing something today. I've been laying on the couch all day watching Desperate Housewives. I highly, highly, highly recommend for anyone who loves the tea. But yeah, I feel a little lower.
You feel low now?
Yeah, a little bit.
Huh. Interesting. I feel better now than I did 45 minutes ago.
At least we're balancing each other out.
Perhaps.
You know.
Perhaps that's a strength. I think we need probably just need fresh air too.
Yeah. I think it's time to end this.
You think?
Is there anything else you want to say, Aaron?
I don't know, man.
You feel like you're a little tired today?
I'm very tired. I don't know.
What's been going on with you?
I
feel like sometimes you're in a funk and then you just don't say anything because I'm usually in more of a funk and I feel like that's selfish of me. So I'm just checking in.
I'm doing okay. Yeah. Doing good. I feel like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just tired.
Yeah, you don't have words today.
Oh.
You're just a little bit slower.
Yeah. I'm sleepy.
Probably because you've been doing a lot for me.
No. I think I'm just tired.
Okay. I took a 3-hour nap, so.
Ugh. That sounds nice.
It was nice, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. But you don't feel energized when you take those naps.
No, but I couldn't do anything else because I was laying on the couch all day.
Yeah.
Like I physically can't move, so that's my only option is to like sleep or read or watch TV.
Yeah.
And so that's what I chose in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
No, I really miss my life when I'm sick or injured. The only time I'm ever injured though is my back. I've never had any other injuries.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. I feel like you're in everyone's body. There's always like one body part that doesn't work right.
Yeah, and yours are your knees.
My knees, my right shoulder is also fucked.
Oh yeah. Yes. Have you heard that in a while?
I dislocate it every like other year. Something happens like
Every
once
other
every
year.
2 years. I feel like.
Well, that's a pretty good ratio.
Because in college it happened twice, and then
It happened like a couple times in 1 year. In our senior year, you were very, very stressed. Or was it our junior year?
Nah, it only happened once my senior year.
What was the time that we were sitting on the bed and we were
year.
fighting and you dislocated your shoulder?
That was senior year.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like stress dislocated.
I mean, we weren't even like, we were like
force.
getting upset with each other and I was sitting on the floor and he was sitting on the bed and we were just like yelling and he was like, stop. Because I used to be a scoundrel and push him till his literal breaking point.
Well, it was like I just wasn't used to that type of fighting.
I don't fight like that anymore.
No, not anymore. No, never. But I wasn't used to it as much. I was getting used to it. Just being more open because I'm a quiet guy.
Yeah.
So like I was the opposite of you, where I was just like silent. I would silent fight, and that's probably worse. So then I just wasn't used to it, and my body literally exploded.
If you really want to piss someone off, do you have a tactic? Or do you not care to piss someone off in a fight?
But I want to piss someone off.
Or would you rather just like be like, okay, I'm done. I'm going to walk away. Like, this isn't serving me.
I don't frequent the walk away. Maybe I do, and I just don't realize. If I want to piss someone off, I could probably usually say something annoying.
You do. You're sassy.
Yeah, like I'll bring out the sass.
Yeah. That's true.
I usually don't walk away.
You bring out the quiet sass, which can be frustrating.
Yeah, that's the worst kind.
But you know what? Like, you know it's effective, so that's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have quiet sass because I don't know. There are rarely moments where I feel like I can say what I want in few words and then be done. But obviously that's me.
But
and
would
not
you
other
ever fight
people.
with your family like that?
Maybe my brother when we were young. It's just never happened since. My dad would. I would never fight with my parents though.
Really?
I would never yell at them.
But would you be sassy with them? Like, would you say things like that?
No.
Never?
No, never.
Oh, so you're just a good kid.
I would never be allowed to do that. Or not even allowed. I was too fearful. I was scared.
I fought with my parents a lot growing up.
Well, your whole family is more vocal. So.
Yeah, that's true.
My family's not. I mean, I would get yelled at.
And then what would you do? You never fought back. But would you think to yourself, like, in your little room, would you be like, I'm going to get back at them?
No.
Oh, I was a vengeful child.
What do you mean back at them?
Like, I remember, because the biggest thing that really annoys my family is when you don't want to spend time with them.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
It's when you don't want to be present in the moment. So I remember I was and I would do this with most of my fights with people. I was so like maniacal as a child. Like I would think like, okay, well, they want me to be good. I'm going to be extra polite and I'm not going to engage in conversation beyond the niceties.
Oh, you were like, I'm going to do like you're
like I'm going to clear
12
the
years
dishes.
You're 12 years old and you're like, I'm going to do this till I'm 18 years old until I'm out of the house.
And I still do that. I still do that. Like I'll get into a fight and I don't think we talked about this on the last podcast. Well, like my fight with Leela when I stormed out of the house recently. And I was like, you know what? I am 23 years old. And I am sitting there in the car staring at my phone because Aaron's not picking up the phone. And I am thinking to myself, I cannot turn back around until at least an hour has passed. Because I have to prove my point.
Because you stormed out and you drove away?
So Leela and I, we got into a really big fight. And I get really emotional in our fights, but at this point I was just angry. I was pure anger.
And you drove out.
And
you stormed off.
Went downstairs. I said, Andreas, keys. Gave me the keys. I drove away. I drove like a couple of blocks. Okay, like where am I going to go? I don't have anyone in the city right now.
Yeah. Always.
Yeah.
Always the case.
Always the case. And I just sat in my car, my parents' car, not even my car.
Did you drive on a hill? Were you high in altitude or low? Because sometimes
I was closer to the beach.
Oh, interesting. Because sometimes I want to be high in altitude and watch over things.
See, like if I go high in altitude, I have to go.
I need to watch this city right now.
I have to go north. And then that just...
It's not
I usually tend to gravitate toward the ocean when I'm upset.
Interesting.
Like I just go... Because it's a straight shot from my house. Down to the beach.
Yeah, and you can kind of be
It's usually foggy. It's like more acceptable to park your car and by the beach.
True.
But I was like in front of like a school.
Yeah.
And I just sat there for an hour and waited till...
And you just were sitting there. What were you thinking about? Because I totally get that. I
was thinking like I can't... I can't turn around and I can't answer my parents' texts right now.
Oh, yeah.
Because I will show them that I'm weak.
Yeah, there's no chance. When you leave the house, yeah, you have to wait at least an hour.
Yeah.
Before you can go back.
Of course.
You can't come back after 5 minutes.
And like the thing is I wanted to go back. Like there's food at the house, there's warmth.
Yeah.
I honestly wasn't that mad at my parents, so I was fine talking to them.
Right. Yeah.
But I just could not. I was like, I made the choice to leave. I have to commit.
Yeah.
And so I sat there just staring at the fog for an hour.
Because I wasn't answering the phone.
No.
You had no one else to talk to.
No.
So you're just sitting there.
Yeah. I had to prove
just
my
waiting.
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of arguments that I get into, like, for example, sometimes we'll get into an argument and I'm like, it is too early to forgive him. I have to wait another day to be upset, even if I don't remember what I'm upset about, because I have to prove that I can stick to something.
Is that what happened?
This happened like a couple weeks ago to us.
Oh, okay.
Which I know it's toxic, but it's better than my other ways of fighting.
No. I do get that. It is like, especially with like storming out of the house. I did that the other day. There was like a few weeks ago I stormed out of the house. Like a month ago.
We were filming the self-tape?
Yeah. When I stormed out.
Yeah, that was awful.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I do remember like immediately I left. I was like, oh, fuck, I want to go back inside. It's so much nicer inside.
Where did you go?
Sucks out here. Literally went to the laundry room, hung out, kicked my feet, sat on the washing machine, kicked my feet.
Well, I'm glad that we have the same. You know, I usually just go to the car and call my mom.
Yeah. Because I remember I didn't have my keys. I was like, literally, I was like, maybe if I like just walk away. And I was like, nah, dude, I need to go back inside. So I like
you waited a bit.
Did I? No, I waited like 20
only
minutes.
Like half an hour.
That's
I was like
nice.
choking on the floor of the closet. Like mocos streaming down my face. Donna was scratching the door.
I do remember that.
And I was like dry heaving. That was a mental breakdown moment.
We both had a mental breakdown.
But honestly, I don't even think we were fighting with each other.
No, we weren't fighting with each other at all. We were fighting with ourselves.
Yeah, and we were so angry with ourselves that we couldn't be nice to each other.
Exactly. So then we had to just be
and
apart
that's the
for
worst.
a second.
That's the worst thing.
Yeah, because you can't help each other.
And I hate it when we get like that.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I can't move.
I know.
But yeah.
Yeah, those are the worst fights. When it's not even about when it's not even about compromise. It's just full Barbara Walters.
Full tea. Sometimes I do wish that like I had a camera around the fights that I have because they're so funny and dramatic.
Yeah, like with your family or with me?
Both.
Yeah.
You're a funny fighter too.
I am funny.
You've become funny.
Yeah.
Because before you used to just be silent.
Yelling is crazy.
But now you yell more than I do.
Yeah. To yell at someone is like an insane thing to do.
I guess
I've just watch it. I feel like I do that. I'm like, hold on. You know?
No, but there's like times when you'll get so upset, you'll just be like, you'll just like throw things and then walk out, and I'm like, you are hurting yourself in this situation.
Well,
like there's so much rage that will overcome you, and I'll be like, oh, please don't hit anything, please don't. And no,
let's be clear.
No. Let me be very clear in this moment. Not in a way that insinuates any sort of violence, in a way that I'm worried that he will. This sounds even worse.
That I'll hurt myself?
Yes, that you'll hurt yourself. But like it's almost in a way to like prove that you're mad to yourself.
I think it's like I try to like assess why I'm feeling a certain way in a moment.
Right.
And in those moments where like I'm again not typically an angry person.
Mm-hmm.
So when I do get angry, it's a big deal for me.
But you've been getting angry a lot recently.
Have I been?
You felt put on the spot by me saying that.
Perhaps I didn't interpret my.
I think you've been more willing to express it, and there's been less extreme outbursts that just culminate. But there's been little tiny like you snap more. But also like I think that makes sense because we're at a place in our relationship where you feel more comfortable with me that you can voice your issues.
Perhaps.
Because if I say, Aaron, if I order you around in the beginning of our relationship, you would just do whatever I said. You would go above and beyond.
Yeah.
And that was an issue for a long time in our relationship, not on your part, but on mine, that I feel like I took advantage at some points. And, you know, it became sort of a dynamic that you were always doing things for me. And now I feel like you feel okay being like, pick up your shit or, you know, get your act together. And like, I feel like
when you had the water bottle. Sorry, now I'm putting you on
my
this one.
back.
Right. You had your back. So that's a preface. You were not feeling good with your back. Your back was really hurting you. You had an empty water bottle and you were right by the sink. And he's like, can you fill up my water?
No, it's because I actually asked you to fill up the jug of water in the fridge.
Oh, is that what you were talking
about?
about?
And I couldn't reach it because it hurt.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was talking about. But
I thought you meant the cup that was
but
in
you
your
misinterpreted it, and it's fine.
Might be.
And what I'm saying is that you've been a little more snappy with me recently, but I think that you've just maybe been going through some things. So
what do you think I've been going through?
I don't know sometimes. I feel like I'm super, super vocal about, like, if anything inconveniences me. Like, the tiniest inconvenience could be, like, a Greek tragedy in my life. Which is actually so Greek of me.
Yeah. It's, like, super Greek.
It's super Greek. But you... Like, sometimes we'll have a conversation and, like, you'll be experiencing the same thing as me and I'll be like, really?
Yeah.
Like, I used to think before I dated you that you just get really connected to people, so you just know them super, super well. And I used to think, like, you're just more connected to some people than others. But I do think that that's, like... I do think people probably feel more connected than to some people because they're just more open in general. And it's just easier to feel like I know what they're thinking because it's written all over their face.
Yeah.
Like, I have friends that I'm like, I know exactly what they're thinking at any time because they're just so, like, it's just clearly on their face.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think I'm one of those people.
Yeah, I think you're open whenever you're feeling anything.
But also, I think that you could just be really simple in the way that, like, you'll be tired or you'll feel that too much is going on in
honestly,
a single
it's usually
day.
not a deep thing for me.
Yeah. And then it's just like...
I'm rarely in, like, moral turmoil. And it's usually, like, I'm cranky. I get really cranky.
Yeah, and that sometimes, I think, hurts me a little bit. Just a little, because then I think you're mad at me.
What happened the other day? I feel like, when was I last cranky? I feel like, I get cranky a lot.
Like 2 days ago.
What was like, oh, when I was throwing fits. Yeah.
It was just like, I would come home and I tried to, like, make myself sparse. I tried to clear the house.
Well, I'm trying to remember what was going on. Oh, I was really...
You had work.
Yeah.
But I think
felt bad.
The way we function is just really different because, like, if you have a lot of tasks going on, you get kind of upset.
Right. You thrive off of having tasks.
And I get nervous when you don't have tasks going on.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that we need to work on that kind of and talk about it more. But yeah, you...
Well, I was up very late and then I had a lot to do the next day.
Yeah, and you were just like, everything I did, I was like... I have a hard time not taking things personally. And when I was little, when I was, like, in grammar school, I remember the thing that all the boys would say about me was that I was clingy. Like, you don't want to start a relationship with her because she's clingy.
Like grammar school?
Yeah.
How do they even
like,
know what that is?
Like, it was even before I was dating people. Probably because, like, I was so overt when I liked someone. I've always been that way. Like, if I had a crush on someone, I would tell them. I would hang around them. Like, I fall hard. You know what I mean? Like, I fall really hard. Yeah. And then I would do the thing of, like, I literally found journal entries from relationships that I've had in the past where I'm like, even in the beginning of our relationship, I'd be like, you will not talk to them for a week and you will make them suffer and you will make them want you more.
Oh my God, that's such a classic. I remember, like, having crushes on girls, like going to, like, a carnival and then, like, not even talking to me and then me, like, walking outside the carnival and being like, I'm gonna, like, never speak to them or look at them or even text them. I will never text them again. I will never send them a Snapchat, and they will one day miss me. Send them a Snapchat like an hour and a half later.
Oh, I wait like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And that makes you more clingy.
Yeah, it's so terrible.
It's because when you can't have something, you want it more.
It's funny because it's like, yeah, it's like the feeling of not being having no control over a situation that has nothing to do with you. Because if someone doesn't like you, it's not their fault at all.
No, it's not their fault.
It's like that. I feel like when you're like 12 to like 15 and you're experiencing these feelings for the first time, you're getting horny a lot.
I was just I was such a romantic back then.
Right. It's like all of these like feelings.
Right.
And then other people aren't reciprocating. And it's like, it's about you.
Yeah. But it's like, even like in my long-term relationships, I felt that way. I felt clingy in all of my long-term relationships.
Is having a baby.
And how do you feel about that?
I do not care.
Does it phase you when people that you've hooked up with or have had crushes on or had some sort of relationships with, like, you see them with other people?
No.
Not at all?
No.
Yeah, you're not really like that.
Like high school crushes? No, I don't care.
Okay. Because you haven't been Pavloved.
Haven't been Pavloved, indeed.
Yeah. It totally spiral. Like, it could be happening right now. Who knows?
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, but anyway, like, to that being said, my response to, before I kind of just accepted that about myself, I remember, like, writing down in my journal, like, I have to be cold-hearted. Like, that was always my goal, was to be, like, emotionally cut off.
Did you like the song Jar of Hearts?
Yeah, I did. More because I like the song, though.
Not like, this needs to be me.
No.
Oh.
No, the song that I really connected to as a child was like, I'm gonna miss you like a child misses that blanket. Like, that specific. But I got... And you know why it affected me? Do you know why?
I'm not afraid. Off on the sidewalk. What? Why?
Because I lost my blanket when I was 8 years old. On the plane, and my mom ran back inside the plane and started screaming, please, please.
They didn't let her in the plane.
No.
Yeah, they don't let you do that.
And I listened to that song and I cried, staring out the window, like in a music video. Like, my blanket. Like, I sucked my thumb till I was 10.
It's a long time.
If that gives you like any insight into who I am, I think that's it.
Yeah. What the fuck?
It's an ice cream truck.
Is there an ice cream truck that goes down our block?
Maybe.
That's fucking awesome.
I've heard a lot of children screaming today.
You have?
Mm-hmm. Or maybe that was just in my dreams.
Maybe it was me. No, I wasn't screaming. That's cool, I guess. Yeah, this is the second day in a row this happened.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, man. That's cool, I guess. Yeah. Interesting. Crazy. But yeah, anyway. So you're going to be a Barbara Walters type from now on. From here on out. That's the goal. Actually, I don't know why you'd want to be that.
I have goals that don't align with who I am sometimes.
Yeah. Alexa, is Barbara Walters dead?
Yes.
Okay.
You don't have to ask Alexa. You can ask me. Okay. I'm right in front of you.
Hello, my dear. I love you.
But no, bro. Like, everything affects me to the max. And like, to the point where, like, I don't think I would ever have a wedding. Because I never had a birthday party since I was 10 years old.
You get nervous.
Because I wouldn't want anyone to feel left out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, I think that's less of like an admirable thing and more of a cowardly thing, really.
No, it's not. I don't think it's either. I think that, I certainly wouldn't categorize it as cowardly. I think it's more anxiety.
Yeah, it's definitely anxiety. But yeah, no, I've thought of this a lot recently, and I don't think I would have a wedding.
Mm. For that reason, specifically?
Only for that reason.
Interesting.
Also, parties really make me nervous when I have to throw them.
Yeah. I mean, those are
tough. I love hosting people, though. If I'm throwing something for someone else, I love doing that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, weddings are tough because it's like it's all about you, but also you're throwing it for yourself.
Yeah, I don't like
And
throwing
it
things
just
for myself.
Feels weird.
So I probably, unless I was famous and like Vogue was covering my wedding and it was like for a business ploy, I wouldn't have a wedding.
I wouldn't want to do that.
That's the only way I would do a
You
wedding.
want a business ploy wedding?
Yes.
Like a Chris Humphries thing?
Well, it's like, what are you going to get from it? I don't want
The
to.
sanctity of love forever. That love never dies.
But I think that you can just go marry someone and get eloped. I think that's more romantic.
Like Woody Allen style.
Aaron, that was something that you shouldn't have said. Are you sleepy?
No, I'm good.
Because you keep rubbing your face.
Sorry, my eye's itchy because I slept with my contacts in last night.
I always do that.
I know, but when you do it, it's scary.
Why?
Because you can't get them out.
Yeah.
I've never... When you first got your contacts in, like, they teach you how to take it out. You pinch.
No, they didn't teach me that.
You rub your eye and hope it comes out. That's not how you do it. You have to pinch.
Well, that's why I have you.
That's crazy that I take out your contacts. That's crazy you trust me is what I'm saying. Like, I
I've
don't
seen
think
people do worse to each other.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's very true.
Yeah.
You've seen a lot worse. You've seen a lot worse. Yeah. I feel like I want to go on a trip this summer, but also I don't know where we would go.
And I don't like going on trips because I feel like I haven't earned them.
Interesting.
I think you know this about me.
No, I do, and I understand.
This is why I don't buy clothes for myself. This is a lot of reasons why I don't do things for myself. Because I feel like I haven't earned them.
I just don't know.
I mean, I used to, even as a child, like I would do homework and I'd be like, I'm not allowed to have water after I. Just probably why I'm like.
You wouldn't give yourself water.
Or let myself go pee. Yeah.
Do you finish?
Yeah.
So how long would you be holding your pee for?
An hour or so.
Wow. And you like have to pee, but you'd be like, and you'd still be.
Well,
able to
I wouldn't drink
concentrate.
water, so it would help. Because I wouldn't let myself have water. Food though. I always went for food.
To get to ease.
No, I wouldn't let myself drink water until I finished my homework.
I feel like I've done that in other ways, perhaps.
Like how so?
I'm trying to think. I feel like
Babe, stop rubbing your face.
Sorry.
It's so distracting.
Sorry. What?
Are we done here?
What? Well, I'm trying to even think about like other states I'd want to visit.
New York, that's it. What else do you have to visit?
Yeah, but like I've been there a million times.
Then you don't have to visit. Bye.
Bye.
Colorado, I visited once.
True. On a love cache.
Yeah. Kind of. I stayed. I mean, his mother was there as well.
Interesting. Were you staying with the mom?
I told my mom I was staying with the mom.
But you weren't. It was a little lie.
I told my ballet teacher, I was like, I actually slept in his bed.
How old were you when you told her that?
I was older.
Okay. But you told your ballet you confided in her.
This is the same one that she
Yeah.
had the big boobs.
Right.
And she would... Well, because I was the only person with big boobs in my class.
Right.
And so she helped me find the costumes that fit me.
Right.
Because I was curvier.
Right. No,
Don't laugh.
No, I'm happy.
Okay.
I'm excited.
I told her.
What did she say?
She's like, yeah, like, she was very supportive. Like, it was like telling an aunt, like a cool aunt, you know?
Right.
Like, I think that those are the, you know. Like, I remember, I never told her about this because she wasn't there that day. And now looking back, I'm probably grateful that I didn't. But the first time I ever gave a blowjob, my parents found out about it.
Right.
And it was like the worst time in my life, probably. Like, I went, oh, that was awful. my mom would like pull over at the side of the road and like scream at me. Like they said that they were so disappointed in me. I was grounded. Like,
did your dad talk to you about it?
He just wouldn't speak to me.
Oh.
Like it was really seen as like
You were just shamed, dragged to the mud.
It was like a really crude
How did they find out?
act.
How did they find out?
I was talking to my friend on the phone on FaceTime like really late at night.
Oh.
And I was upstairs and they were downstairs, but no, we were on the same floor still because we hadn't.
Oh, so you were like sharing a wall, and they were like, "What the fuck?"
No, we
talking
hadn't
about?
shared. We weren't sharing a wall. I was in the living room talking. And my mom hears everything. She knows everything about my life, like in too much detail. I
Also,
think.
it's like when you're like 13, 14, and you think you're being discreet.
I was older. I was 15. I was 15.
Okay, still.
But it was like this such a. They were so. Any time that I did anything sexual, they were just and found out about it. And I don't blame them for this because it's an uncomfortable thing, but they were so disgusted by me. Like I was so awful. Anything like that was so wrong and a disappointment and bad example to my siblings.
Right.
Especially to Leela.
I think that the thing with your parents is, and I love them very much, but they tend to, you and your sister have a like 5 years apart. Which is a significant difference. But I think sometimes you guys were, and you guys are, the three of you are very close, and the two are very mature for their age, just on a social level, on like a social intellect level, they're mature. You wouldn't think that they were 18 or 20 or whatever. Like they talk like they're in their...
They're mature people.
Because they probably had to be, because that's just like...
But to be fair, I was too. I think I was very mature.
No. I'm not saying you weren't, but what I'm saying is because of that, I think you guys socially were grouped in together.
Which is so funny because my mom really, she criticizes people who raise their children like that.
I think that you guys are, I think you guys were viewed always as, I think even the way that you guys are viewed today, it's like, you guys are almost on a level playing field. Almost. I'm not exactly level.
Yeah, they are just harder on me than they are on...
Well, you're firstborn, so that makes sense. But I think it's also like that... Yeah. And for them, they were probably like, we're losing... It's like Caddy and... What's that fucking racist book about the kids growing up?
To Kill a Mockingbird?
That's like all books. I just literally named every book that's taught in school. Faulkner.
I thought that her name was Caddy or something, but it's not.
What's the Faulkner book?
I don't read Faulkner. That's a you thing. You're obsessed with Faulkner.
I'm not obsessed with Faulkner.
Yeah, you have his big book. You have a big book of his.
A big book? What's the Faulkner book? I'm forgetting. But anyway, it's like Caddy in the mud and the brother who's young cries.
Oh, because she's naked.
She gets soaked in mud at the river, and the little brother, who's a baby, he starts crying because he's never seen his older sister. Where she, like a moment of her being filthy. Later in the book, she starts fucking dudes. So it's like a parallel to that loss of innocence. I do remember the first time that I couldn't. Because when we were little, like it used to be, this is such a childhood thing, but we have a pool in my Aunt Papu's house in Sonoma, and we used to go in our underwear when we were really little. And it would be like a treat, because it was like so, just like not something that you're not supposed to do. So it would be a treat if we were allowed to go in our underwear or naked. Sometimes we'd go in naked, and we were really little. Sure. And I remember the day that I was 11, and of course I had like first pubic Sound
hair
in the Fury.
And
Sorry.
Yeah, Sound in the Fury, and like a little bit of breast. And I was so excited to go naked, and I remember like standing there about to jump in, and my dad was so mad at me.
How old were you?
I was 11. And my siblings were really little still. They were young enough that was acceptable, but I had never thought that it wouldn't be acceptable.
You were teetering the age.
No, I was way too old. Way too old to be jumping in naked. Like, you should stop at like 8. Yeah. Yeah. But my brother was 8 and my sister was 5.
Oh, yeah.
So
Definitely
I
5 is
just
fine.
didn't even like
You were like,
consider it not okay because I was with my
Right,
family.
right.
And I am like the type of person that like is just always naked.
Mm-hmm.
Like
You're
even
the
now.
naked neighbor.
Even now, I'm the naked neighbor. Like I don't really have like a lot of like fear of being naked.
Mm-hmm.
I feel more confident in my body naked than clothed, I think.
That's fair.
But my dad was so mad at me, rightfully so. But he was like, that would be like if I jumped in the pool
I don't think that's
naked.
warranted, like, really angry. That's like,
It's just like an uncomfortable
by
thing.
the way.
Yeah, and
We're
it was
gonna
like I
stop
remember
this.
this talk, and I was like so embarrassed.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I was so embarrassed. I still am embarrassed talking about it now, even. But I've never jumped in a naked. Well,
Come on.
in a non-sexual way ever again. In a freeing innocence way.
Right. In a youthful way.
Yeah.
In a childlike way.
Yeah, I lost my. That was the
In
day
a
I
pure,
lost my
unadulterated.
innocence. Yeah,
That was your catty moment.
that was my catty moment.
Oh, interesting.
No, but that being said, I don't know why I was talking about the first time I. It was just terrible. That was like the worst week of my life.
Mm.
And I remember.
I think, yeah, I think the worst punishment is also like, shame is the worst punishment by far.
Yeah, and I feel like my parents, even though they really support me more than anyone, like anytime they felt shame about me, it's like really hurts.
Yeah, I mean, like literally in like ancient times, people were like, I will literally take the beatings, beat me, just stop doing it in like they would do beatings in the town square. They would cut off people's heads in the town
That's
square.
awful.
People would come and see it. Like they'd do shit in like coliseums and stuff.
Yeah.
Like town shamings were literally a thing.
Yeah.
And people were like, we need to stop doing this. Like you can beat people, you can do it in like private, go to jail.
That's not okay either, but yeah.
But like it was like the public shaming that was just like brutal.
Oh yeah.
This is like the whole town is like seeing your penis.
Yeah. That is the worst feeling.
It's the worst punishment, being publicly shamed. Think about all the punishments and think about being shamed in front of like your class, when your teacher would embarrass you, when your teacher would diss you in the class. I remember my 4th grade teacher, we'd have like spelling books and we'd have to show them. She'd be like, Aaron, like she'd say it across the room, Aaron, you got this wrong, and everyone else got it right.
Too. It's so messed up.
Like, why are you doing this? And all the kids would be like, ooh.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, oh, damn it. Every time kids would go, oh, you'd be, fuck. You'd be like, shit.
Oh, yeah, my face would turn so red.
Oh, dude.
It is crazy.
That is a kid's favorite thing. Getting worked up like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was childhood's awful. Just kidding. I had a great childhood, but growing up is hard.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I'm probably better off now, but I still feel a lot of shame about certain things.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do be like that.
I forgot why I even brought up that story though in the first place. There was like a point to it.
Well, we were talking about traveling. We were talking about New York. We were talking about how do we get to that?
I don't remember, but there was like a specific point that I was gonna say about that story.
Oh. Somewhat related.
It was somewhat related. It was very related.
Well, I'll talk about the shooting incident and then you can circle back.
Let's do that.
Well, if you think about it, then you bring it up at the end.
Yeah, go ahead.
Anyway, we were talking about Seattle earlier because I had to go to Seattle for work, and I feel like I was unable to grasp it. UW, Washington University. University of Washington, Jesus. They are like, they kind of give like University of Michigan for the West Coast vibe.
Right.
Like it's very surrounded by like I went to the campus. It's like big, but it's also like kind of naturey, also towny. Like,
I think most college towns are like that. Like I felt like Berkeley was kind of like that.
Berkeley? In UC Berkeley?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is it? You felt it was similar?
Yeah. Most schools I've been to, I felt are like that.
But like even the architecture was similar, the layout, like the diag. Like I think they actually saw University of Michigan. Like I actually think that they saw like the University of Michigan and wanted to copy it over. Well, a part of me was like, I think I would have. I don't think I would ever live in Seattle. I do think I could have went to college here.
Yeah.
You know, and
I don't think I would ever live in Ann Arbor, but
no, of course not. It was a good place to go to school. Yeah, Seattle was just good, but we were walking around Cap Hill, and I needed like a razor and deodorant. And we were just walking, like it was past Pike. It was north of Pike.
Pike as in the
Pike
flat?
Street.
Oh.
Pike Street. It's like their main like strip.
Right.
And downtown.
Okay.
It's like the famous one.
And is Seattle
it's like the main
downtown?
Seattle UW isn't. We
UW.
Yeah, sorry. We biked.
I know a lot of people who went to UW.
Yeah. It's nice.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Seattle was pretty walkable. Like surprisingly, people were like, "Oh, the capital is really dangerous. Like there's so much crime." Like it's very similarly to how you were saying people were talking about San Francisco, or even, and it was fine. What, Mike? The thing that I appreciated most that people won't even do, like in LA, like you're saying, you saw a bucket of shit next to a KFC bucket on the corner of our block. There was a guy who was shitting in the street, but he went in the alleyway to shit.
That's nice, I guess.
But like he had the courtesy to walk away.
I don't even know if that's courtesy though. I think that's wanting privacy.
Perhaps.
If you have to shit on the street, you're at a low point, I think.
Well, I've been there.
And
I've been there.
I have not. When did you shit on the street?
I've never done it, but I felt like I needed to.
But you didn't do it because you had a place to go.
Yeah, of course.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you don't have... Like, I'm sure that that's a last resort, or you're not in a good mental state.
Right.
Like, you have to cross a certain point, I think, to be able to just shit in front of someone.
True. It's a mental barrier. Honestly, though, I think peeing in front of people is harder for me than needing to poo. Poo, to me, is like coming out. Like, it's going to come out.
Oh, no. It's the opposite for me. I can't pee or poo in front of anyone. I've always been shy about it, except for you. I can do whatever the fuck in front of you, except for I can't throw up in front of people. That's disgusting.
True. You are...
And I get like...
You need to be alone.
I can't even see people who are too drunk because it makes me... Like, I have a phobia.
Yeah, you do.
I have a full-on phobia.
You need to, like, imagine you're outside of your body and far, far away.
It's the worst feeling ever.
But anyway...
I'm good at shitting though.
You are. You're fast, clean wipes. It's good.
Yeah. I'm healthy.
It's
good.
A
healthy body.
Yeah. You're very healthy. But we're walking downtown. It was totally fine. Again, it's like after.
Okay, but you had the deodorant and you wanted deodorant and a razor.
Right. Getting there. But it's like you read a lot about these cities that are apparently like in really tough shape. And I do wonder like how much of that is perpetrated by the media versus like how, because I've been to a lot of those cities that are under immense scrutiny right now, like downtown.
Well, it is funny.
And
I do think downtown San Francisco is pretty in rough shape.
And I'm not saying like those
things. But I think
things,
it kind of already.
I'm not saying that those problems aren't there. I'm not trying to say like they're not issues, but I think they're made to be a lot worse than they actually are.
I think the wealth disparity is getting worse and worse.
I think that to me is that's the issue.
Yeah, and I think that
like drugs, just fucking legalize all of it.
But like wealthier
I
people.
think I actually believe
know.
that.
I know you believe that. I'm
continue.
coming around to it. I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest with you.
Well, to me, it's like everything's cut up with like that's why we have like a fucking overdose and opioid crisis, because people don't know what they're putting in their body.
But opioids are legal.
But like, yeah, well, it's like an overprescription thing. But I'm talking about like people doing coke. A lot of people get fucked up. It's like cut with
fentanyl.
It's cut with like fentanyl and shit. So it's like if it was legal, people would just buy that shit and get addicted. If you want to fuck up your body, that's your choice. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
But it's like if you have to. Anyway, I'm not gonna deal with
But
this.
you're also someone who hasn't
I'm,
experienced addiction, and you don't do drugs.
Of course. Again, I don't know what I'm talking about. I have no idea what I'm talking about. These are just like feelings I have.
That's a crazy point, and I don't disagree with it. I understand where you're coming from.
Again,
but it's just hard for me to conceptualize because that like drugs really it scares me, I think, more than anything. That
right.
like, but you're right. Like people are gonna get drugs any way that they can, and it is a way to, you know, take advantage of people who are struggling as well. Like,
yeah,
it's more
dangerous. It's always more dangerous when things are illegal, and like there's the risk of, you know. Anyway, so I think drugs are also like a particularly really, 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 just sort of fucked up systemic issue.
Yeah, fully.
Just in terms of like incarceration nation. But anyway, whatever. That's just like my general feeling when I think about that stuff. I don't know. I don't really care. But
I think that there should be different systems to penalizing people or to aiding people when it comes to drugs than law enforcement.
Yeah.
That like I think that there just needs to be other systems in place in general for like those sorts of things.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely.
It's like another number to call, another resource to go to.
Right. Like in Seattle, which I didn't
because
know
if you are wealthy, then someone will take you to rehabilitation if you're addicted to drugs.
Yeah, if you're rich, you can go to the nice places.
Or, though, to be honest, even if you have money, that's also just...
What?
No, I just feel like I know a lot of people who have suffered from addiction, and...
But you get to go to the nice places where they still let you like party and do drugs.
If you make that choice to go.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people don't make that choice.
Yeah, no, of course.
Which is another thing. Which, like, as someone who, like, loves people who are addicts, like, it makes me nervous. I'm like... And you have that as well, where I'm just like... Like... If I'm at a family party and someone there is an addict, I get really nervous that my parents are serving alcohol. And I know, like, that's their choice to drink it or not. But I'm like, I wish we could just all not have alcohol.
Yeah.
Like, that's my immediate
Which
thought.
is fair.
But, like, in my head, even though drugs are still around, whether or not they're legal, I'm like, I wish we could just get rid of all the drugs.
Of course.
But that's not an answer. And that's just me being naive.
Well, I don't think it's naive. I just think it's like it's here, and like I feel similarly. Fuck, I didn't want to like get into all this, but I feel similarly like about like prostitution. It's like it's dangerous for people because they have to do it in darkness.
Yes, and I think I feel very differently about prostitution and sex work because I did a lot of like research on it, and so I think I just know less about
also the
drugs.
service involves another person, so like they should feel anyway. We're walking down Capitol Hill.
Yeah, no, but I think sex work should be legal.
Great. Settled. Let's make it happen.
Well, there needs to be laws to protect sex workers, and they shouldn't be, arrested for.
So in Hawaii, the law used to be you could have sex with prostitutes as cops. Like cops could have sex with prostitutes and then arrest them afterwards.
Oh, that's like a common
that's just
thing.
a thing. Cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're walking down Capitol Hill, and I need a razor, and deodorant. So my friend who I was staying with is like, oh, there's a QFC is what it's called. It's like their CVS equivalent.
Like KFC, but with a Q.
QFC.
Wow, that's confusing.
Yeah, if you don't live there, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
If you've never heard of it. So we're like, oh, we'll stop by there. So we're walking back, and then on the way, there's like a burger stand that's probably equivalent to like a shitty like dollar burger, but it looks like old like, have you seen The Founder? That movie, the McDonald's movie?
I saw the picture of what you showed me.
Yeah. So it's like old fashioned
McDonald's.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, McDonald's sounds so
and they
good
sell
right
like $2 burgers. And we walk past, he's like, oh, this is famous. There's a famous photo of like Bill Gates just like standing at this place in Seattle. It's like famous.
Yeah.
It's like a viral photo. So we stopped there, and we were just looking because it's like a famous thing. We're like, fuck. Maybe we should. Like, I need to know what this is. 'Cause it's like $1.45 for a burger, $2. So I went to try it. They were pretty bad. They sucked, even for $2. But so we get the burger. It was fine. I'm glad I tried it.
Were they skinny burgers? Like, were they?
They were thin, like In-N-Out thinness, but like not even comparable.
Like smashed.
Smashed, but like taste like garbage.
Okay.
Like they were pretty bad. Like maybe I got an old thing. It didn't taste like they just put it on the grill. It tasted old.
Ew.
Because like you say you want the burger, it's right there immediately.
Ooh.
So I think it was sitting there for a bit.
Ew.
So it tasted like shit.
Okay.
So anyway, I took like 2 bites and I tossed it.
Mm-hmm.
Diet Coke, which was splendid. Although Diet Coke is back on like the carcinogen list by the FDA.
That's not good.
It's like bad. It's like really bad. It's like worse for you.
Most things that are labeled diet are bad for you.
It's like just as. I mean, regular Coke is bad, but it's like diet.
No,
is
diet
just
is
as bad.
Worse. Diet is. I've always known that.
Okay, well, fuck it. I'm
Anything
an idiot,
that's
I
like,
guess.
I think like non-fat or more of like labeled as diet could be way worse for you than.
Well, it's like they have to like science.
It's just more processed.
They have to like science.
Imagine something that's more processed than regular Coke. Like no one should be putting that into their body. That's scary.
I'd let you blow it up my butt though.
That's another thing that you shouldn't have said.
So
I don't know, with dance it's really layered too.
Yeah. Oh, of course. All these. I mean, anything that yeah.
Well, because I also think
anything that's like upholding tradition.
Well, it's also
we need
like
to uphold
dance is
traditional
just
values.
It's so tied to culture,
Sure.
right? You know what I mean? So, like for example, you know, there's this idea that certain bodies are better at certain types of dance. Like for example, you wouldn't like, you know, look at a lot of Latin women and probably be like, they are ballet dancers, but you'd probably think that they have good rhythm. Just naturally.
Oh, they have fantastic rhythm.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Like you'd probably just assume that like black people are better dancers than white people, but you probably wouldn't assume that they're a better ballet dancer. Or you wouldn't assume that an Asian person can do hip hop. Like, you know what I'm saying? That was literally said in one of my dance classes by a white woman.
At school?
Yeah, it's at Michigan.
Oh, in college.
In college.
Like, you wouldn't assume Asians can do hip-hop. Did they show Asians doing hip-hop on YouTube or something?
No. It was like an open dialogue.
Like a Korean guy doing a head spin.
Right.
They actually really like breakdancing.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's different, like... What?
No, this is funny.
You're gonna take breakdancing now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to breakdance.
You're lying.
I'm not kidding.
When?
When I was like maybe 12 to 13. No, when I was like maybe 11 to 13.
But did you just try to stand on your head, or did you take like classes, or were you just like out in the streets breakdancing?
I would sometimes go out in the streets.
You're lying, Aaron.
You're
fully lying.
I swear to God, I'm not lying.
You would go out in the streets at 12 years old where? And just like have dance-offs with people in the streets?
No. I wasn't good enough to ever do that. To ever live that life.
So what like brought you to breakdancing?
I don't know, but I'll play a video
lying.
here.
You're
I
lying.
literally have videos of me at like 10 years old. I was probably in like the 6th grade.
So did you just know like I can stand on my head?
Well, I learned that.
Because you specifically really confused me with dance. You specifically.
Why is that?
Because, you know, we did movement classes and acting. And you always excelled at those. But you have no rhythm whatsoever.
Yeah, because that's not a rhythm thing. It's just like do weird things with your body. And I can do weird things with I have a weird body.
But you're very graceful.
I don't think it's grace. I think it's...
No, I do.
I think anything that is beyond... Yeah, I think it's eccentricity in terms of movement, but I don't think it's grace. I don't think anyone has ever seen me and thought I was a graceful person.
Oh, I do. Fully.
Wow.
In Murakami? Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, fucking ballet. That's
But
crazy.
anyway, to go back to that point.
But like opera is really fucked up. Well, it's crazy that people get mad about anything related to progress. I think, what's the New York Opera?
I
The
don't
Met,
know. Oh,
obviously.
my favorite museum.
The opera, the Met Opera.
The Met Museum, though, is my favorite museum.
Oh yeah.
I just wanted to clarify.
Oh yeah.
I love it there. Like,
What's
it
your
gives
favorite
me
part? What's your
chills.
favorite exhibit? Do
I
you like
don't
the
know.
pyramid?
I do like the pyramid. I
What's
like
your
the
favorite
part
part?
when like you walk in and there's all these like Greek statues around you, and it's
A lot
like
of-
a lot of the light coming in.
It's a lot of like older people peeing on kids.
What?
That's a lot of statues. There's a lot of people peeing.
No.
Mm.
You just ruined that for me. I'm not gonna let you do that.
Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
I used to have this book, and I actually have the picture right there of the girl with the red balloon. And it got lost inside the Met Museum, and she
Was
would
that the story?
try to find it.
And where was it?
I forget, but it was on the steps of the Met. It ended up being, you know. So she went through the whole museum looking for the red balloon.
And she found it. She
and
got
she
it
found
at the
it.
end. Fucking idiot.
But I used to, it was a silent book in the way that it didn't have words. It was just pictures.
Right.
A picture book. That would have been easier to describe.
Mm.
And I would just look through it every day. I loved it so much. And then when I went to New York for this ballet company, I went to the Met with friends. Hi. Please put that back where you found it.
Keep talking.
I went to the Met with friends, and I was like sitting there forever because we were only allowed certain field trips around the city. And every time I go back to New York, I totally fall in love with that museum, and I could stay there for hours.
I mean, it's huge.
It's huge. It's beautiful.
It's a big museum.
But yeah, I always looked at it when I was little, so I always wanted to go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Seattle was good. It was good.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But why didn't you like it? Why wouldn't you live there?
I think it was too. The only thing that I particularly liked about Seattle was the zoning. The zoning was good.
What is?
I agree with the zoning policy.
What is the zoning policy?
Well, it's like everywhere but like New York City. If you walk down the street, like in your neighborhood, in your like neighborhood, it's just houses, it's just apartments.
Yeah.
That's how it works. And then you go to like a central street, and then those are all your shops.
Okay. So they're like on the same block as the houses.
Yeah, it's all dispersed within neighborhoods. At least when I was in where I was.
So it's very walkable.
So it's very walkable. Everyone was everywhere. So I actually really, it's not that I didn't like it.
But what didn't you like about it? Was it that you were scared from the shooting?
No, you keep also dropping the shooting.
Because you dropped the shooting.
To you.
Yeah, so I'm dropping it here.
Oh, okay.
You were obviously going to talk about it, right?
Yeah,
Did
yeah,
you
yeah.
want a lead up to it?
That was the...
I'm not good at that.
That's okay.
Like, you got to get a different interviewer if you want that.
Well, this is like the balance for us because I feel like I'll like hide behind the 8 ball, you know?
Right.
So I feel like we need to meet in the middle sometimes.
Yeah. I don't have time to beat around the bush. My back is spasming, so.
Yeah. I mean, we almost walked into a shooting. That being said, I think there's also a lot of hullabaloo about Seattle, as there is about like, I feel like there's a similar, what's the word I'm looking for? There's a similar thought process about Seattle as there is to like San Francisco.
That is very liberal.
No, well, I think that's like in the background, that's like the tone of the way a lot of people say things is like, oh, Seattle, oh, San Francisco. I think the correlation is, oh, they're liberal, outrun cities. That's what people say. I think Seattle gets a similar rep because it's very liberal. However, I had a great time. I didn't find that to be. I'm having trouble coming up with words. Can you help me here? Please help me, for the love of God, please.
Yeah.
Please help me. I'm dying.
I can describe.
No, I'm fucking dying here. Please help.
Okay. I could describe how I felt about going back to San Francisco, and then maybe you'll think of something.
Okay. Yeah.
We both feel brain fried. We've been locked inside for too long.
Yeah. Let's get some fresh air.
It's just been, yeah. I don't know.
I think that Seattle gets like an unfortunate rap.
But you didn't like Seattle.
No, it's not that I didn't like Seattle.
I know you didn't though, because when you came back, you were like, "Oh, Seattle." Like you keep saying,
no,
like,
you're making
Seattle.
me feel like how I feel when I talk to like people over the age of 45 about San Francisco. They're like, "Oh, San Francisco."
But you know what? I have different thoughts on San Francisco now upon my last time of going back.
Why?
Because it's a completely different city than it was when I was growing up.
In what way? Where did you go?
Just in my neighborhood.
In what way?
In the way that, like...
I really like your neighborhood.
Yeah, and I love my neighborhood too, but...
It's nice.
It's dead. Like,
Oh,
San Francisco, like...
I get what you mean.
San Francisco is an abandoned city right now.
Honestly.
Like, we just never recovered from the pandemic.
Sure.
And everything closed, and San Francisco is comprised of a lot of small businesses, especially in the neighborhoods. And everything's closed most days. A lot of places just reverted to takeout. Like, there are just no people in the Bay Area. I'm not even just talking San Francisco. Like, even in Sonoma, people just aren't even, like, walking the streets anymore. Like,
yeah, I feel like that's, like, most places.
But I don't think it is. Because I've been to, like, for example, LA is not like that.
I think it closed early, but yeah.
No, but San Francisco, like, it genuinely feels like a ghost town.
I did feel that way when we went after your sister's graduation, and we went to.
And maybe
lunch.
it's because the summer gets gross. Like, it gets really cold in the summer in San Francisco.
Yeah.
So people kind of leave. The tourism comes back in the fall, but it kind of made me sad seeing it like that.
Yeah.
Because also it's like most people that work there are tech people. I don't know what is the demographic like work-wise in Seattle? Like who works
I think
there?
there's a lot of tech in Seattle too.
Okay, so it's similar.
Yeah. Well, I think that the rap it gets is somewhat similar. It's like on a smaller scale, but similar to San Francisco. Everyone's like, oh, it's a degenerative city. It's like run down in like the last 10 years. That's people's perception of it. It's
funny the different perceptions that people have of San Francisco, and I get very defensive over the city, right?
I do think, because look, I think that the rap it gets is not reflective of how it really is. Other cities are fucking shitholes, and they do not get that rap.
Well, I also think
other cities are terrible.
San Francisco had more to offer than other cities in the way of like, I keep like gurgling in my throat.
Oh, what's that about?
I don't know.
What's going on in there?
My body's just not working properly. But, you know, San Francisco, there was like, and maybe I just remember it this way, but there was a lot of art. There was a lot of like things happening. And now that it's primarily tech, first of all, it's impossible to live there unless you've already owned property for years.
I think that that's a valid thing. I get annoyed when people are like, oh, the drugs and the homeless, which is obviously a problem.
But it's like the disparity
what
is
incredible.
Way
worse to me are the fucking Patagonias.
Oh,
it's the Patagonia city.
But it's like,
I would rather cross the street when I'm walking next to someone in a Patagonia.
Yeah.
If it's midnight and it's two roads, tents,
you see the Patagonia.
Tents or Patagonias, honestly, like similar. Anyway, I'm going down the tents.
You're like, who's gonna beat me up first? The Patagonia.
No, it's like the Patagonias just have like, they have no social instinct. They'll like try to ask me a question and they won't know how. I don't know.
Is that a tech thing, Patagonias?
Oh yeah.
It did seem like a thing like at my high school too.
Yeah, it's a Patagonia run city, and that's what's killing it.
Well, the way that I see San Francisco, I think, is so layered because I grew up there. And the way that, like, when I tell people I'm from San Francisco, like, the different reactions, I get defensive of it.
Yeah, because it gets...
Because, I mean, people, first of all, they think oh, well, you came into San Francisco and you must be very, very wealthy. You know, or it's like the thing of like, ooh, like San Francisco's really bad. You know?
Yeah.
Like people in LA will tell me that San Francisco is really bad. I walked down our block
LA's a shithole.
and I saw a bucket of shit next to a bucket of KFC. And the KFC looked actually pretty good in that moment.
Was it human?
Human shit? It looked like human shit.
Huh.
But it was really pebbly.
There's no QFC. There's no KFC in our neighborhood.
It was on the corner of our street.
Huh.
I mean, the shit looked really pebbly though, like my shit when I went on that antibiotics, which still hasn't fully fixed it. So maybe I like went out in the middle of the night because you know that I sleep talk and maybe walk, and I shit on the side of the road in a bucket and ordered KFC.
Maybe you did.
But they were two separate buckets.
That's not nice.
At least they were like contained.
They weren't in the same bucket.
They were contained and separated.
Was it open? It was open though.
It was open.
Okay.
But I see that all the time in LA. People go up to my car and hit
the amount of bottles of pee I've seen just in suburban neighborhoods is crazy.
But that's why I'm like, why are you telling me that San Francisco is disgusting? And by saying disgusting, you mean that we have a large homeless population.
Yeah.
And I mean, there is a lot of, in concentrated areas of San Francisco specifically, there are a lot of homeless people, and there is like open drug use on the streets, I will say, like from...
Dude, I saw fucking people smoking crack last week on our block.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I think every city has that issue.
Yes.
And I think that when you don't have businesses...
It's media. It's 100% media.
But it is the thing of like...
75%
okay,
media.
I will say everything in San Francisco is locked up.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, which is like a crazy...
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Like
things are locked up here
it just
too.
feels... No, things aren't locked up here the way they are in San Francisco. But what I'm saying about here is that there are like businesses thriving. There's like things going on that it's like existing all at once. And right now San Francisco is just completely dead. And that's all people are fixating on.
Yes. Right. Yeah, and people don't... Yeah.
But also, like, I'm not living there. Like, my aunt got mugged downtown.
Right.
You know? Like, that is a real thing.
Yeah, but, like... okay.
But that does happen...
Yeah,
you know,
go
like I
anywhere.
was hanging out with her friend.
Right.
And he was saying... He's from New York, but he lives in San Francisco right now because he works for tech. And he's saying, you know, San Francisco, when it's really good, it's really good. But when it's really bad, it's really bad. And it gets
what does that mean?
Super foggy, and like that the Tenderloin just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And then he told me that he got his phone stolen in New York.
What?
So that's what I'm saying, though. Do you know what I'm saying?
What does that mean?
He got his phone stolen. He got mugged in New York.
Okay.
He got pickpocketed in New York.
Okay.
So I think that there are things to every city. Because he was complaining about how bad
San Francisco is.
And I agree. Like,
does he spend a lot of time in the Tenderloin? Is he hanging out there?
I think he goes downtown a lot.
Okay.
Probably. Yeah, I never go downtown either. And there is something to be said about, like, it can be really, really bad downtown. But
every downtown is disgusting.
Yeah, I would not feel safe walking downtown LA by myself.
Well, it's more... The more unsettling thing for me is just that it's empty. I get nervous. See, this is where we differ sometimes. I get nervous. I would rather it be like crowded everywhere. I like crowds of people.
No, I do too.
When it's empty, I get nervous.
No,
in LA,
me too.
there's downtown is so many buildings.
But right now
and
is
it's
what
empty.
I'm saying is that San Francisco's empty right now.
Right. Okay.
And that's
fair.
the thing that freaked me out about LA when I first moved here, is that there's no people walking on the sidewalks. There's no one walking on the sidewalks.
Generally, yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel safe.
Sidewalks.
It's like a car can just pull up, and this happened to me. A car can just pull up to the side and
try to snatch
you.
Yeah, you almost got snatched.
I did almost get snatched, and that was the scariest experience of my life.
Rightfully so.
But, you know, I think that can happen anywhere.
Yes.
It did feel, though, more like, you know, when that happened to me and I was screaming help, first of all, no one around me did anything. And also just the streets were completely empty. And I think that freaks me out. Like,
yeah, definitely.
you know, because no one can help you if you're in that sort of situation.
Yeah.
And it's eerie. It's like, you clearly don't have any power as a pedestrian in LA because there's no pedestrians.
Yeah, you have to be you have to, and perhaps there's a part of it where it's like you just need to. We didn't know where we were, too.
Yeah.
Also, it wasn't like that crazy of a place where we were. It was broad daylight. Anything to happen in broad daylight is nuts.
But I have to say,
that was nuts.
Since that moment, I've always been an anxious person. Like walking down the street, I've always thought in my head, like, if this person chases me, if this person pulls out a gun, which is not a normal thing to think, probably.
I think that's more normal than you think.
Especially in America, probably. Because people have guns here.
Yeah, I think that's more normal.
Yeah. But anyway, I would always think of those things. So I feel like when it happened to me, I was ready. Like I knew how to respond. But also, I can't walk by myself anymore. Like I can't. I get really nervous. And I am more aware of like, oh, does this neighborhood look quote unquote safe? You know?
Right.
I'm way more aware of that now than I was because I could be snatched at any time. And I also am more aware of like, which is fucked to say because, you know, growing up, it was always a thing of like, whenever we were harassed or assaulted, it was always a thing of like, what were you wearing? And I hate that I'm saying this, but on that day I was wearing revealing clothing. And so I was wearing makeup and my hair was down. And like, it's also a thing like I was very feminine presenting in that moment.
You were looking snatched.
I was looking snatched, to be snatched right up.
Yeah. Is that perhaps where the term comes from?
Maybe.
It's like you look snatched. People are going to try to snatch you.
So that would be really wrong.
You were indeed looking snatched.
I was.
Because a psycho literally got out of his car to try to snatch you.
Yeah, but now, like, when I leave the house, I'm like, am I wearing too much makeup? And is my hair down? Like, I feel awkward walking in shorts down the street, where, like, normally I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah.
So I guess that's, like, putting some of the blame on myself, but if it keeps me safe, then I don't care.
Putting the blame on yourself.
Because I can't help but think, like, oh... And I know that this isn't true and I would never tell this to another woman, but I can't help but think like, oh, if I was wearing sweats and a sweatshirt, would he have chased me?
No. I understand that. And
obviously, like, that was the first thing that, like, some people asked.
Of course. Well, look, and here's the thing. You shouldn't have to change your lifestyle because of how it might affect other people. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's fucked. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The thing I will say though is God saved me in that moment, and specifically La Virgen, bruh. She saved me in that moment.
You said, please protect me.
I have this bracelet. I've actually never shared this story on the podcast, so I might as well. We were in our showcase. You know why I never shared this on the podcast was because I was afraid that someone would like try to chase me if they saw it.
What?
Like I get scared to like talk about like something that happened to me and then someone try to like do something to me if they see it online.
Well, just don't give your address.
No, I won't. But anyway, it was after our showcase. I'll give a quick spiel about it because it's not that interesting. We were at our showcase and I was like walking around on my phone afterward talking to my mom because I just wanted to be alone in that moment. And this guy like pulls up his car next to me and he starts like catcalling me. And this is like a normal occurrence, I guess, that I've experienced throughout my life. So I wasn't like, I was like, oh, I hope he goes away. But I wasn't even scared. And then he just kept coming up to me. And I was like, oh, he's following me to my mom. I was on the phone with my mom.
Yeah.
And I started trying
What was your mom saying?
She said, get out of there. And I mean, my poor mom, she probably felt completely helpless because.
Yeah. What do you do?
Yeah. So I don't even remember where I was just walking around the street. I didn't know the area. So and my friends had just come back from walking around. So I thought it was safe. And, I started walking back toward the main street, but I didn't know where I was going. I had my Google Maps on to try to get back. I didn't know where anything was. And then he goes away. And I'm like, okay, he's gone. I'm going to just try to go back slowly. And because I'm turning the corner trying to avoid him. And he like drives all the way around to meet me. Gets out of his car. You know the story. And he starts.
Like driver's seat gets out.
Yeah. Like,
Crazy.
Thank God he wasn't with anyone else.
Yeah. That's
because
crazy.
I would have. I don't know if I would be. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even want to go there. But he just like starts sprinting at me. Like, in that moment, I literally felt like I felt like I was being hunted.
Was he saying anything to you?
I don't even remember. No, not when he got out of his car.
Right.
He was charging at me. Like I was just something that he was going to take. And I was so angry. Like, how dare you fucking think that you can snatch me?
Yeah. Snatch a girl looking snatch.
And I looked down, and I do believe that this was God, fully. Thank you, God, for saving me in this moment. And I had this bracelet from Colombia that has the Virgin Mary on it. And I looked down at the bracelet, and I was at this point screaming help. No one was helping me. Like,
that's
screaming
crazy. That's
help.
crazy. There were people around.
Well, there was like a woman walking her dog. There was people driving.
Did they look at you?
No, like it felt like it wasn't even real life. I don't even know how to explain it.
Crazy.
Everything was moving slower than I was.
That makes sense.
Everything was paused.
That makes sense.
And I look down at my thing, at my bracelet, and I say, please, La Virgen, help me, help me, help me. And I was like, all my mom heard on the phone was me screaming. And she didn't know what had happened to me. Yeah. And I turn around and he falls over. He falls over right after I said that.
Like face plants, like totally falls. Crazy.
Like totally falls. And my abuelito says to me, after I tell him the story, that my guardian angel pushed him. And I really believe that that's true. Because it was right after I asked God for help. And I know that sounds crazy to a lot of people, but like, I was protected in that moment. And I could have been really hurt. Yeah. By this crazy man who was chasing me. And immediately when he started chasing me, I knew my way back to the theater.
That, I think, is like a fight or flight thing.
It was fight or flight. But I was like, I turned around and I started screaming at him. Like, I think my voice had a lot of power in that moment. He
probably also was not prepared for you to have like an attack plan ready.
Because I turned and I screamed at him like, no.
Right.
No. Like,
right.
When
you go scream yell and your
like,
voice
I
deepens,
was like crazy. Like, I think that my no could have pushed him over too, because
I think, and here's my thought. Totally, I think like the more beautiful story is that it was your bracelet and that whole moment, and I love that. If we make the movie, it's true.
I believe that.
If we make the movie, then that's the thing. What we push.
But it's like, who gives you that power? Like, I never thought I am such I'm such a submissive person.
I think that power was inside you.
Yes, but here's the thing: is like, I often find that I don't speak up in situations of like.
But you perceive that to be life or death, and it very well could have been. So
yeah, it was.
Yeah, so like.
But I think that something gave me that power, in that moment. Like I needed that power.
Right. Well, I think that there are probably a fair percentage of people who would deer in headlights that, you know.
Maybe, but in that moment, I realized that I wanted to live.
No. But what I'm saying is like, especially people who have like foreseen trauma before, they'll disassociate and then just not move. Yeah. Like that's a traumatic response.
Which I have never been.
No. But when
chased before,
or not even like necessarily people who have been chased, but I'm just saying like there is a world where people just like freeze and aren't able to respond. You know?
Yeah.
And he was probably like, oh shit, like this is a tough one.
Yeah, it was crazy thinking about it.
Yeah, that's nuts.
It is crazy thinking about it because, I mean, I just remember for like a year after I couldn't walk down my block without having a panic attack.
I mean, yeah, that's terrifying.
And like my
That's
mom was
awful.
like, you can't let him take away your power.
Right.
Which is like a common thing that I think a lot of people say when something bad happens to you that frustrates me. And I don't think it wasn't meant that way at all.
No, it's a well-intentioned sentiment, but it's also like, bro, I was literally chased.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna be nervous for a second.
Yeah, and everything was moving in slow motion. I ran to the theater. I couldn't breathe, and you're standing there on the phone with Leela, and I'm just watching you because I don't even want to say where I am at this point. I'm like, how fast is he gonna move to save me?
Right.
If I was on the street.
Right.
Being,
I thought your sister was joking.
No, of course, and that makes sense.
Because
But-
also, like, we were on the phone for maybe like 30 seconds.
Yeah,
and then I
but
came down.
when I was listening to you and I realized that this was like probably my own response to what had just happened, it felt like I was listening to you for 5 minutes. Like it felt like it took you 5 minutes to walk down those stairs.
Okay. Got it.
Like everything was just moving so slowly.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
But once I reached the theater, I felt, okay, I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I saw you when you were in the theater.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But carry pepper spray. Be safe.
Yep.
And yeah, I don't know. That was always the thing. Like my mom always growing up would be like, if someone tries to grab you, kick and scream.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know if that
Go
was
for the
something that
groin.
your parents would talk to you about.
Not too much. My dad would say if anyone tries to take you, say go for it. He would make that joke all the time.
That's crazy.
He'd be like, tell him my dad will pay you.
It was always something that was just at the top of my mind.
That makes sense, especially for a woman. Like,
Yeah. Which is awful that we have to think about that. Like, it's like, I don't mean to be dramatic, but it's like every time you leave the house, you have to be prepared to fight someone if you're a woman. I know that sounds crazy, but that's really how I feel.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a woman, someone really believes that they can just take you.
Yeah.
And not even in that sense of like a stranger chasing you, but like even with friends or male acquaintances, I felt like they just feel like they can just touch me or take me or do whatever they want and it would be okay.
Yeah.
And they feel that they have that right over me.
Mm-hmm.
And over my body, really.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this whole me hurting my back is just a way to reflect on how grateful I am that I
For your body.
have my body and it's mine and no one else's.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Love that body.
I know you do.
Especially when it's naked.
Oh my God.
Sorry, that was really
Not you
inappropriate.
sexualizing me
After your story.
I tell you my trauma of men abusing me.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I love you.
Love you too. That was terrible when that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It made me realize though that I am the one that will protect myself over anyone else.
Yeah, for sure.
And
you in that state of fight is the most terrifying thing I've ever seen.
good.
Like, don't.
Because
like,
I think that
like
I could
if-
kill someone in that moment.
If I knew you and I zoomed out, you were the last person I would ever try to kidnap. I mean that with my whole heart. I would never try to kidnap you. You could kill me. You could kill me in one swoop.
Well, I don't think you would try to kidnap anyone, but
No, I wouldn't. But like, I'm trying to put myself in like the mind of a killer. Like, I'm trying to true crime this.
right. Because this is a true crime podcast. No.
But I would never kidnap you. You would never make the list. You would like maybe come across the mind. But then I'd be like, no, absolutely not. She would kill me.
Yeah, I would. I've come up with like, this is awful, but I've come up with really complex plans of what I would do
That
if
makes
I was
sense.
kidnapped.
That makes
And
sense. You kick the taillight of the car. If you're in the trunk, their taillights.
oh, that's
You
smart.
can kick out the taillight and then you wave your hand out.
Oh,
That's what you do. All the taillights you can kick out.
okay. Yeah.
You'll never be in this situation, but I'm just saying.
No, I know. It scares me talking about it,
Yeah.
honestly.
That makes sense.
But it also enrages me.
Uh-huh.
Like, a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I think I could kill with my rage.
You could.
I know I could. So watch out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that was my near-death experience.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you did want to share yours since I keep bringing it up.
Well, we're at an hour, so.
Oh, okay. I feel like I talked the whole time about nonsense.
Well, it was great.
Oh.
It was a great time.
Yeah, you know, I just want to say before we end that I was really nervous to do this podcast again.
How do you feel now? Feel better?
I feel okay.
Oh. Why just okay?
Were you nervous to do this podcast again?
No. Yes and no. I wasn't nervous. Why were you nervous?
Because of everything that has happened in the past. Because my podcast was shown to my family on the family trip.
Oh, yeah.
And
they took dumps on you.
They didn't take dumps on me. But there was definitely, and I think that this is like, I was hesitant to talk about this, but I think that I should. Because I just want to like clear the air with the viewers. Mm-hmm. Is that okay?
Yeah, we have time.
But, you know, we both made choices to talk about our family during this podcast. Mm-hmm. And that brings up like a lot of personal stuff. And, you know, when my family kind of saw the podcast, I think they each had like their own opinions on it. And I think it's something that like when anyone sees your work or anyone that loves and supports you sees your work or anything that you do, they'll have opinions on it because they care about you and they want you to do your best. Well, and they each have their own idea of what your best can be.
And I think it's also like, for example, if I was watching a podcast and I was literally in that story that is being told, I'd be like, oh no, I want to say this, or oh, I have a perspective. So I think it's also like,
no, exactly. And I think that I sort of had this moment where I was like, do I have the agency to tell these stories?
Yes, you do.
But I think I'm still working with that. Notice how I didn't really talk about my family in this podcast. I'm still figuring that out. Yeah, so we'll see. I'll probably continue doing it. I really love having this space to talk and sort out how I feel, especially when we're in LA and it feels a little bit more lonely here. I really love to talk about my family because it almost feels like they're here with me. And I do want to say that everything that I say about my family is out of complete love and respect, and I would not be who I am without my family. I would not have had that power in that moment while I was running if it wasn't for the women in my life. And I just want to make that clear because everything that I say is out of love. And I believe that if you love someone, you fight with them and you argue with them and you have different beliefs. You make fun of them. And you make fun of them, but in a loving way. And I am the person who is most made fun of in most of my relationships. So.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I am the butt of every joke. Yeah. Quite literally. Yeah. But yeah, I wanted to say that. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, God bless all of you. And
I'm going to go try to take a dump without my back spasming.
I got pee too.
Okay.
Can I pee first and then you dump?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. All right.
Okay.
Bye.